Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to another episode of the Tuesday Thing with me and the girl and the Irish guy.
I was told that because I don't get scoops and Corey does, I've now been demoted to down here. I'm just behind the logo. I'm not allowed to be seen. Sean was like, "You're too ugly for the camera. You don't get scoops. Get behind the logo. Better heard and not seen." But I will say that none of that is true. I just thought it was funny that we did this layout with this frame. But get in your super chats, get in your humper chats, leave a thumbs up on this video. And of course, subscribe to Fightful Select. Normally, this is the part where I would tell you, here's a couple of stories that we had on Fightful Select and why you should subscribe. I don't know, man. There's just a lot of stories going up this week, okay? There's a lot of stories happening, and Corey has a bunch of them. I don't even know what to tease because there's so many things, but you got a full rundown tonight, including some of the backstage main roster talent that was there. Tons of scoops coming out of Stand and Deliver, tons of scoops coming out of WrestleMania. Sean's got plenty more for you. Corey's got plenty more from you. We got the Julia report confirmed. We got so much stuff happening on Fightful Select. I think I wore out the frame gimmick, so I'm going to take it away. But what we're not going to do is take away Corey because he's here to give some extra context to those scoops that I was just talking about. There's so much going on. Corey, let's kick it over to you. You broke so much news this week. Coming out of the pay-per-view, coming into this episode. When I saw that we had a tag rematch, I was wondering if they were going to be trying to make this almost like in the same vein as a Raw after Mania, like the NXT after Stand and Deliver, if that's supposed to feel a similar way. Kind of yes and no. Kind of yes and no with that. We obviously saw the tag team championships change tonight, but I'll kick it over to you. Most of my questions are going to be about Bron Breakker. So whatever you want to take a victory lap on, whatever you want to tease might be coming up, you go ahead.
The Julia story obviously is one that I was working for a while on. Didn't really sleep much last week trying to figure it all out. But yeah, she is signed. I can definitely confirm that she has agreed to join WWE. Whether it's a verbal agreement or she has put pen to paper yet is not something I'm not sure on. But she has agreed to deal at this time. There is something that I do want to clarify just for people who might have read the report earlier and not seen the change. There was a typo in the report. That's on me. There was a sentence where it said that AEW had made an offer and it was a similar situation to the other free agents and so on, but that was just a typo. AEW did not make an offer to Julia. I just want to make that clear. It was always going to be WWE when she became a free agent, and that's exactly what did happen.
Yeah, that was kind of what the speculation going into it was. So thank you for confirming that. A huge win for WWE. We've seen a lot of free agents go over to the AEW side. I think WWE is going to have a big retention year this year. They have so many free agents up that they should and need to keep in a lot of ways. But picking up Julia is definitely a good one. I'm curious to see where she fits into the picture here. Her and Roxanne give me that all day. So some good stuff there. But we also saw that you reported that some main roster talent was going to be on tonight's show as well. You reported that the Final Testament was going to be on the show, as well as Natalya Hart. Natty and Roxanne, I thought, had a great match. Of course, it was one that was never really in doubt in a real way. And we did see the Final Testament come out at the end, which Alex is quiet about over there because he's just so elated. He doesn't even know what to do with himself because he's just so overjoyed by their presence on the show.
Mr. Positivity.
Mr. Positivity, Alex Pulowski. But any added context to those? Were those just kind of, I feel like Natalya in a lot of ways has been used as a measuring stick with some of the younger talent. The Final Testament got out of this feud with Lashley and the Street Profits. Not sure if what they had planned for anything after, but it seems like they're still finding their footing a little bit. Any added context for those?
I learned earlier that they were there. Natalya was there was some confusion that Natalya was a surprise. Raw and after Raw, they confirmed she was going to be there, so that wasn't much of a surprise. But obviously, getting the title match was. There was with regard to Ivar, when I was told he was there, I wasn't told specifically what he was there for. Neither was I told the same for Final Testament, but I knew that they were there and they were planned for the show. With regards to what's coming next, I think this is part of what I've been talking about really the last few weeks whenever I've been on, where I've been talking about the new cohesion between the main roster and NXT. And that's something that I'm actually going to have a story on this week. I talked about it earlier on Twitter. That'll be coming sometime this week with more information on that. But like the two acts that showed up tonight are two acts that I think will benefit a lot from being in NXT. They're not really Final Testament. Yeah, they were just on WrestleMania. You can say that. But after that feud with the Pride, it kind of feels like what's next for them. So this is a nice little detour for them. I think in the long run, it can only help the likes of Axiom and Frazer, because when these like more, let's say, veteran talents like Cross come down, there's not been one negative thing said about these main roster talents. I say that every week. They come down and they share everything they know with the up and coming talents, and you see that on screen. I feel like, especially with the likes of Frazer and Axiom, as they get better and better every week. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what Ivar and Oba do, and if what comes next for the tag titles.
Now, a rare thing where Alex got what he wants and I got what I want in in this Ivar and Obafemi feud. Obafemi being on screen is the best moment of Alex's entire week. It's hysterical because it's on his least favorite show probably, but we were kind of clamoring for this. What I like about this is we're seeing Obafemi get put in these different contexts. We saw him in a triple threat. We saw him with Dragon Lee, who is the opposite of Ivar in a lot of ways. I'm excited because I don't know if it seems like Ivar has been featured heavily on TV, but there hasn't been necessarily a track for him, meaning headed toward any sort of title or anything like that. I think this could be a really fun feud. Any idea what spurred that? Was it just that me and Alex wanted it so bad that it happened? Can you confirm?
Did
we manifest it, Corey?
I cannot confirm that, but I can confirm that Ivar's someone that Shawn Michaels himself has wanted down in NXT for a while now, because dating back to as far back as when Eric actually got injured. Because that's the thing, like Shawn will ask for certain people. That's what I've been told a lot, that Shawn will ask. It depended on what the plans are on the main roster. They could be sent, they could not. It's a very situational decision for now, because when it used to be, if NXT, if Triple H wanted a main roster talent, it would have to go through about 5 or 6 different pipelines before it would become a thing. But now, because obviously it's Triple H, Shawn Michaels, lifelong friends, it's just so much easier and more cohesive.
Got it. That's good to hear. And the other thing that we got on the show that is just the most for Kate thing is No Amdar and Dijak, which we're going to talk about it later. That's not Scoops related, but that is Kate related, and she is excited to see what we're digging into with that. But a ton of scoops there. If there's anything else that you want to share about Julia, feel free to. I know that was one that you were working on for a while. Very exciting news. Do you think it's symptomatic of more to come with this Rossi relationship? That's not a report. That's just me asking Corey. Or does this feel kind of like a one-off because Julia is just one of the hottest free agents on the market?
I don't know. I really don't know a lot about Rossi's promotion or what his relationship is with WWE right now. All I know is that he was very important in Julia coming in. Yes, I can absolutely say that. But someone that was very, very important in bringing her in was William Regal. And something that Regal did before he before he was released, when 2.0 was taken over by Vince and Bruce Pritchard. When that happened, he was released. So yeah, it's just kind of an awkward kind of situation with Regal almost, because obviously there's some resentment from fans, obviously, how he left AEW, but at the same time, he is absolutely fantastic at what he does when it comes to scouting talent. He always has been. He's always been great at bringing in these new talents that perhaps WWE wouldn't really have targeted in the past. So I think that Regal will be pivotal in whatever free agents WWE bring in the future. And I do think he would be pivotal on if WWE get Nakajima or not either.
Sure, that makes sense. Guys, get in your super chats, get in your Humber chats. We've got Corey on here for a little bit longer. I'm going to ask him a couple more questions and then allow him whatever he wants to do as far as taking victory laps from all of the great coverage that we've had over the weekend. Leave a thumbs up on this video as well. We would appreciate that so much. There were some people in the chat asking about Drew Gulak. We did see that he was no longer in the Titantron. Not speculating on anybody's jobs here, but can you confirm what we do know and leave out the what we don't know, because we don't know it?
What I do know is that he was pulled from several events over WrestleMania weekend, including the Hall of Fame ceremony. He was taken out of the position where he would have been on camera. I also, Sean was able to confirm that he is not in any creative plans right now. So he's been pulled from television as well. Obviously, the graphics, as everyone saw today, the new God, I can't say their name.
No Quarter Catch Crew.
Thank you. I can't say their name.
I know the Tecker names, baby. Let's go.
But yeah, so and then obviously they showed them backstage, and it was almost, and throughout the whole match, I don't think Booker got the memo though, because he still mentioned Gulak. I don't, but that it's almost
Booker
you have
not
to
getting
expect
the memo is kind of a thing.
Yeah.
He's never gotten a memo in his life.
Never
gotten a memo in his life. God
No.
bless him. God bless him. The only other thing that I'll bug you about is we saw the Fatu news. We know about Tama Tonga. Feels like that could juice up the main roster more than it could juice up NXT. But have you heard anything from the NXT side as far as possibly Fatu or Tama Tonga arriving at this promotion rather than going to the main roster?
Obviously, with the news that he's officially signed, obviously other outlets did confirm what I had reported that he had signed. From what I've gathered, it's a very. I was told to wait for SmackDown. That's what
Okay.
I've been told. I've been told to wait for SmackDown. Whenever I've asked about Fatu, that's what I've been told. Wait for SmackDown. And same with Tama Tonga. Just wait and see. No one will tell me anything about those. So those two, whatever they're doing in WWE, is being held closely guarded secret. And if they are showing up
from that, I would assume they might be on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I walked into that one by the way I phrased that.
Listen, if you say I don't have any confirmation, I can't report it. I'll be the one to speculate. They might be on SmackDown.
If they're not, that's kind of a bummer, honestly. If they're like, just you wait for SmackDown and they don't show up.
Just you wait for Friday, baby. Just you wait. And then you wait and they're not there. Then it would suck. That'd be really mean.
That'd be so mean.
One thing about this line of work that people don't realize is that a lot of sources decide that they want to be what's the word? Cryptic.
Yeah.
Unnecessarily cryptic with what they tell you. And you're just there like, could you tell me more?
Just you wait for the day between Thursday and Saturday and we will see what happens. But that's all that I have, Corey. We'll dive into the review, but if there's anything else that you wanted to share with us, a lot of people hyping up Javon Evans today. Anything else that you want to kind of include?
Rapid fire. Javon Evans, obviously, absolutely fantastic talent. I reported back when he made his level up debut that the minute everyone saw him wrestle, talent, officials, everyone just awestruck by the level of talent that he has at 19 years old. And this is my prediction. This is my prediction. It's not a report. This is a prediction. I think he'll be NXT champion within a year. Easily.
Okay.
Easily.
Wow.
And North American champion within 6 months. That's how good I think Javon Evans is.
Well, hold on.
You think Oba Femi's ever gonna lose?
At some point,
if Javon Evans is the perfect guy to take it off of him. No, he can come back on. It's fine. So we're having a discussion. Javon Evans
I will just
a build to take off of him, but give it at least 2 to 3 years first.
I will hover over the setting and just spam it rapid fire like it's a slideshow of me popping in and out as you do it. So don't test me. Okay? It's 3:30.
Don't test me. It's 3:36.
3:36 in the morning.
Oh man, it does seem like the sky is the limit for this kid for real. 19 years old, an absolutely fantastic showing today. Freak athleticism. Looking forward to his career in NXT and WWE and wrestling for sure. Some really incredible stuff. But before I take you off the screen again, I'll do so with great intentionality and completion of your time on the show. Is there anything else that you want to share?
Lastly, this is the last bit that I learned tonight before I came on. Did Josh Briggs mention about his cracked ribs? I was told that's probably storyline, but if he is injured, it would have happened on the burning hammer, the electric chair burning hammer. He landed awkwardly and he was getting checked out after. I'm not sure if it is a legitimate injury or they're just selling the match itself.
Sure.
There's not really much else to report right now, but tomorrow there will be a full producer list and other backstage notes, because that's something that I've been adding to my coverage. Started at a standing level, but for now on, guys, you'll get this insight. I know it's something that a lot of people have been asking me about since I started doing these scoops for Select, because a lot of people don't actually know who produces matches in NXT. So if you do want to check out that list, it will be available tomorrow. You'll get to see everyone that is on it. And make sure to subscribe to Fightful Select. Best $5 in the biz. If you're Irish like me, it's even cheaper. Less than it's like €3, $3.20. I don't know.
Dang,
something,
all right.
something like that. So if you're Irish, UK, all that, it's even cheaper. So you're missing
as we all know, as I clarified last week, that Ireland is in the UK. So thank you so much.
Bite me, Kate.
I won't bite you, but I will remove you. Follow Corey Brennan at Corey Brennan FF on X. Thank you so much, not only for coming on here to talk to us, but for all of your hard work all week. Really incredible stuff happening at FightfulSelect.com. Best $5 in the biz. Thank you so much, Corey.
Thanks, guys. See you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
No, see, I'm going to...
Oh, not again, Alex.
I didn't do that. That wasn't me at all. I didn't do that.
Alex, why would you do that? I'd never do such a thing.
I wouldn't do that. I would never do that.
Corey's been so great, man. It's been such a pleasure having him on board.
He's been absolutely killing it. So
he has.
That's awesome.
But does he even sing songs or do impressions? We'll break him in. We'll break him in.
He does one impression. It's Finn Balor. It's just him talking. So so Alex, your dad, yes. Yeah.
The fallout from Stand. And Dilemma, but
yes, a lot of fallout.
We got baseball puns in the chat for people who are just jumping in here. Good stuff.
Yeah. People wanted puns. Puns! Tell us the puns! And I was like, baseball? I don't know. Kate likes baseball.
I do.
It's
Thank
spring.
you.
You know what I mean? It's like my Brewers are 7-3. They will wind up below 500, but for now, we're looking good.
Look,
so,
as a Yankee fan, I'm clinging to this early season hope. But
your dad says happy Eclipse +1 to the SGS. Here's to the team, the super mod, the sisters, and the man, myth, and legend, JW Pringle.
I mean, the best, my brother. Who would have thought that my mom would make her Fightful Select debut before my dad? Honestly, I was very surprised that happened last night and everything that happened over the weekend. But hi, Dad. Thanks for everything this weekend.
Your mom is a fantastic. She's the water She's the water girl. She's the
water girl. She thought when she walked behind me, she thought only you could see her.
Very nice.
And I was like, no, Mom, see this chat where everyone's putting you over? Like, no, we're live.
That's right. And Lupongi Vice says, just popping by to say good day. Got a big weekend ahead of me at the first Starcast in Australia. Getting the chance to meet Mickie James, Bret Hart, Jordan Grace, and Powerhouse Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs is going to be at
Powerhouse.
Powerhouse.
That one?
Might overcome my childhood fear by meeting Gangrel. Very excited.
Ooh. Hey, if you see our friends at Pro Wrestling Australia, say hi to them. They're really, really wonderful. Or our friends at Brucha Libre, who have been sponsors of the show before. Or Jamie Apps from the Australian wrestling scene. Great friends of mostly me, but like also Fightful.
Right. Roxanne was on Raw last night, and she got on Indy Hartwell for climbing a ladder faster than she did. Finally, it was long-term storytelling at its best. And so she beat Indy last night, and then ran afoul of Natalya. And Natalya's like, "I'll see you tomorrow night." And then Roxanne was surprised to see Natalya tonight.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all right. So yeah, okay, good. Oh, Corey has one more scoop. Should he come
I'm
back?
so tempted to just make him put it in the chat. Like, you just have to deliver scoops in the chat. Corey, you can either send me notes or come back out. Whatever you want to do is fine. I'll make sure my Twitter's open.
So she comes out to like, honestly, are you guys surprised? And they were doing You Deserve It. It's like, no. Shut up. This is the first heel thing that she's done that I liked. You know why? Improv'd. Not memorized from a script. This felt like her doing the character as opposed to her performing a script in character. There is a big difference. She's young. She's still inexperienced. With all the experience she has, she's still inexperienced. She's going to be so good at this by the time she's 30. Like,
yes.
just stupid good at
Absurd.
this.
Absurd.
So, this moment where she's like, no. All of you shut up. I don't need your you deserves it crap. I needed that energy from you guys a year ago, which I did not get.
Yeah.
And that was fully improv'd in the moment and was excellent. I want to see more of that energy from everything that she does in this heel character, because that little tiny bit proved to me that she can do all of this heel stuff. It's not beyond her. It's not fighting against her type. She can do it. She's just, I got a script. I got to say all the words. And it's hard. Like, it's really, some people who aren't used to like really memorizing scripts and all this kind of stuff, it's difficult to do.
Sorry, Corey actually did put the scoop in the chat, which is just like the most incredible thing. You moderate and you drop scoops right now, Corey. Military cage match was considered for Stand and Deliver. We talked about it at length that it felt like that match didn't have the blow off that was intended.
It felt like they had a little bit more in the chamber.
It did feel that way.
And wouldn't you know it, they decided that, like, at that point, they already knew we're doing this again in a steel cage. We can't do all of our shit here.
Yeah.
We got to save some for the cage match in a couple of weeks. Correct. So that's why it felt like it wasn't the blow-off, because it wasn't the blow-off. However, they did promote it as the biggest match in NXT history and the blow-off. They promoted it as though this is the match to end all matches. The blood feud ends here. And they knew for a fact when they were promoting it that way that it wasn't going to be that. So,
I think I'm frustrated because the story's been going on so long that I was like, finally it culminates. And then they were like, JK, you're probably getting a trophy. The Roxanne stuff. One thing I also liked that she did yesterday was, this is how you know this. She's the prodigy, man. Mm-hmm. Yesterday on Raw, in her very short match, one thing that she did was on the way to the ring. Samantha Irvin's killing it, right? We're aware of how incredible she is. And Roxanne, when she was doing the new NXT champion, your new NXT champion, she just was mouthing it along with her. Your new NXT, like, very good stuff, like very tuned in. If you're gonna go around saying it's your show, you're the champion and all this stuff, like her on the way to the ring mouthing it, I thought was really, really, really good. I adored that last night. I liked what we got tonight. I still actually do think it's playing against type. I think she's just good at stuff.
Right.
And she is getting better. I'd much prefer her as a babyface underdog. But when she's allowed to be a heel, instead of being the one heel woman that they tend to draw up, it feels like, other than Blair Davenport, because she just is the exception. It does feel like she has these natural inclinations. And you and I had talked about that she does an incredible job changing her wrestling. And we're going to talk about that later. But like her actual wrestling in the ring, wrestling as a heel, she's very good at. So hopefully the character settles in and gets away from the one heel that we know. But I agreed with you in this early go, and I loved some of the stuff that we got in her way too short of a match last night. But some good flares of heel work in there too.
Yeah. Hey, Mark Quill's back. Hi, Mark Quill. Mark Quill's an original member of the SGS.
Yeah, he is.
Good to see you. So Lyra comes out with her arm in a sling and says, how dare you? I want a title rematch tonight. And she actually goes, she looks at her arm in a sling. I want a title rematch tonight. And I'm like, she looked at it as though she was considering, should I have a title rematch even though my arm's in a sling? Yeah, screw it. Why not?
Just the flesh wound.
Roxanne says that she's leaving NXT and she's taking the title with her. Or she also, I thought she said both, which you can't do either. The next time anybody's going to get this title is when they take it from me after I leave it behind when I go to the main roster. So Roxanne clawing all the way back to her title for a year and getting it back and then being like, this piece of crap, I don't want it. I'm going to the main roster now and getting other titles, feels against the character. Saying, I'm taking this with me. I'm never giving this up. That feels right. I feel like you can't do both. So you got to pick one. And I like the second one. I'm leaving. I'm taking this with me. Obviously, she's not, but I hope she's not. She might. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff they could do this bad. Yeah,
you straight up Home Alone when you thought that.
I did. My God. There's bad. So Tatum jumps the barricade and comes up and like gives her like fawns all over her, and she says, Tatum, thanks for being my friend and for watching out for me. I really need it, but you don't need to do this anymore. I'm good. And then Tatum goes, oh, are you? Are you good? And then she throws her into the steps and beats her up, and they have to separate them. And I'm like, oh, good. We're starting off this thing not making sense again. You never told us why she had an obsession with her.
Nope.
So now she's decided to the obsession doesn't exist. It's an obsession in the other way. I guess she's crazy. She doesn't really need a reason why she's doing things. But this is what we're doing with Lyra. Is we're having her
but like
feud
Joe
with the
Gacy's
person
crazy, but I know why he's doing stuff. Like there's an important difference there. And the other thing is, like, Lyra, yes, you do need her help. You lost your title, so you're wrong for that.
Right.
And then the other part of that is, to your point, like we never really knew why Tatum was obsessed with her. It wasn't her; it was the title. So it cheapens automatically the turn. Like if I don't know why you were attached to someone in the first place and you turn on that person, I don't know why you've snapped, essentially. We're going to find out some stuff about Chase U that I thought we were getting 4 months ago. But this had no explanation. So maybe we just need to wait 4 months and we'll find out.
Maybe we will. Maybe it'll come out later. Roxanne, so then they pull away Tatum and Lyra can't obviously wrestle. And then Natalya comes out and says, you have been so rude to me, which is a Stephanie Tanner reference. That much of Full House I do know about.
How rude.
So she says how rude to Roxanne, and she says, I want to these people are getting a title match tonight, you versus me. And Roxanne's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that with you. That's dumb. And then Ava comes out and says, actually, yes, you are doing that. Then, Natalya attacks her and whatever. She barely gets away with her title. So we're going to do that later, but like we all knew that we were going to do. there's a Frazer and Axiom interview. They apparently whined a lot after they lost their third straight match to Bron and Corbin. Baron and Corbin.
The Wolf Dogs, but
Wolf Dog. Baron and Corbin, I think is the correct.
and Corbin and the Wolf Dogs.
Corbin, the Wolf of Dogs. And you gotta have two consonants. It's in the contract. So they said we want another match, and Ava's like, yeah, sure, why not? But I guess the stipulation was if they lost the title, the match to the Wolf Dogs, they would not get another title match. And I guess they said then, well, if we can't get another title match, there's no reason to be a tag team anymore, even though we're really good friends and really successful as a tag team, kind of. We can't beat this team, but we can beat other teams. So they just said, I guess if we lose, we'll just have to break up. Too bad.
I actually didn't mind that because the way that they got together was just kind of predicated on the same thing. Like, this team has always felt like, you know what, this is a lot of fun. Let's give it a go.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of actually liked, like, hey, maybe this isn't the best route for both of us, because they're also Axiom and Nathan Frazer. We don't have a name for them. They don't have like super duper matching gear. So I kind of liked that it was like, we're a tag team. Like, they're definitely a tag team, but it wasn't like this is going to be a violent split. And it wasn't like to me that it almost just felt like very professional in a sense of like, maybe this isn't working out. So I kind of dug that, but I also was like, why do you keep getting title shots if you keep losing all the time to these guys? And if you're going over, why didn't you just do that on the pay-per-view? And I still have a lot of questions about that second one.
We will address that more when we get to the match.
Sure.
Here's the thing I'm going to address. This will be the next hour of the show.
This will be the next hour of the
Chase U is having a little get together in their one classroom they have on their giant campus that they have. Remember they have dorms? Remember that?
Yes.
A long time ago when Bodie was still in the company and he and Thea Hale had to be roommates, and then he got released so soon after that they never paid off all the gags they were going to do with that. Anyway, so then the one classroom they have, and they're having class, and then JC Jane shows up, and like they have to hold back Thea Hale from leaping over her desk to kill her. And she's like, oh, I'm just here to reveal a very important piece of information that should have been revealed months ago. And she says that, aren't you going to tell Thea why I had to rescue your little university from bankruptcy? And what she says is that when Big Ange brought in the envelope, she opened it up and she's the one who saw everything. So that Mr. Chase, in the big match where he threw in the towel and caused Thea Hale to lose her match to Tiffany in July, he had placed a huge wager. All of the funds that came in, like to support the university, the government funds, he took those, embezzled them, and placed a huge bet on Thea Hale to win. And then, because he was so concerned for her well-being, he threw in the towel, costing himself all of that money and her the match. And this makes Thea Hale incredibly angry. That he was so confident in her abilities, he wagered all of this money from this university because he believed in her so much. And when he thought she was in too much pain, he tried to rescue her from that pain. Both things that would show that he does really care about her. And she is furious with him. And this made me just hopping mad.
I can't believe there's been a couple times of recent where you've just quit the show. Not even just this show. You almost quit Raw yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I forget what you quit last week. Mm-hmm. But you almost quit a lot. Mm-hmm. And I thought this was going to be you almost quitting, but you didn't. Yeah. So I was I was proud of that.
Mhm.
I kind of interpreted it as she was just mad at the situation and herself and him. Because I thought, this is the frustration with NXT. Even in this cheesy backstage thing, I actually thought this was pretty well executed by the actors of this. Like, I thought JC Jade actually did really well with this. And I thought Mr. Chase did a great job with this. Like, if we're talking Gia, if JC Jade is Gia, he Danny Tannered this very well. And I loved him. I liked him being like, I will always bet on you.
Yeah, no, that's great.
But you do raise a point that he threw in the towel on his own
bet.
Yeah. So it's his fault, and JC Jane is gaslighting.
Luis is very upset by this too. He says, by the way, the reveal still did not make any sense because the Thea Hale match was in July, while the controversy started in October. How was the college running for 3 months with no money? I guess the idea was he was getting money, borrowing money from the mob to run the college. And that's not explained well enough. But here's a little thing that I do sometimes unintentionally that ruins everything for me because I come up with ideas I like way more than what they actually did. And then I get really angry they didn't do them. So here's this. Here's this. I need to stop doing this to myself. I really do.
Oh, no, it's the best.
It's so much better if he is a problem gambler. That's what they keep saying. And this whole controversy is that he gambles all the time on all kinds of stuff. So if he's so in debt to the mob or whoever his bookies are, and they're like, okay, well, we need you to win this money. And like, I don't know. I don't have any money. I can't pay you. So what you're going to do is your girl, Thea Hale, is losing that match to Tiffany Stratton. I'm going to place a huge bet on her to lose. And it's up to you to make sure she does. And if you don't, we'll burn your damn university to the ground. This is back when Tony D was a heel. It would totally work. So him throwing in the towel is because he had to bet on her to lose. And he threw in the towel to cost her the match to save his university. And since then, he has realized what a mistake he made and how from now on, I will never bet against Thea Hale. I bet on you with everything I've got in me. You're going to be women's champion one day. Right? This is and she can be pissed at him for the thing in the past, but he can be like, I acknowledge the bad thing I did in the past, and now I want to make up for it. So you now run an angle where Thea Hale is the one to beat Roxanne when she goes up. And during that, it's him betting on Thea Hale, not really, but figuratively, that helps her get that victory. And then everybody's super happy because Thea Hale's the champion and you paid off this whole thing. And there's actually an arc and characters change and growth is good. You know what that's called? Growth. But no, we don't have that here because of some stupid thing they retconned to make no sense at all. And JC Jane being like, I thought you would like to know that this guy actually cares for you a great deal. Choke on that, Thea Hale. Bye-bye. Like, what is this?
Well, I think she was trying to make her feel like everything was her fault, right? That's what they were aiming to do.
But what is her fault?
She was the one that lost, yeah.
But she didn't place the bet. She also didn't lose.
She didn't throw in the towel. That's the thing, yeah.
Andre Chase threw in the towel. None of this makes sense.
It's also so late. Like, it's so late. It's so late.
It's so bad late in the game to be doing this stuff. It's so late in the game to be doing this stuff.
Like, I was looking. Remember when there was this really precious moment in time where you were like, oh my God, are they going to make me like Chase U? Because we had thought like this gambling thing would rule. Like, we thought of this gambling angle forever ago. Yep. And they're giving it to us now. They also built out this whole Mean Girls Club that doesn't really have to do with any of it now. No. That's my thing. It's like, why the Riley what do we call him? Riley Myles Borne?
Milesy Rouse Borne.
Miles.
Yeah.
Why that? Because it felt like they had abandoned the gambling idea, and then they went into what I thought was going to be "I stole your boy."
Why the frick did JC make all these calendars if, as she says, she was never Thea Hale's friend and always thought that Andre Chase and everybody else in Chase U were a bunch of losers? Why was she spearheading all of this stuff, making calendars? She didn't see any of that money. That money all went back to Chase U, who she has said she never cared about.
She's just like, she never cared about them, but she's also like an empath. No, it absolutely makes no sense. It makes no sense. And the parts of it that do make sense made sense like 4 months ago. This doesn't work. This doesn't work.
Yeah. Boy. We got Kelani Jordan and Fallon Henley versus Izzi, Damon, Kiana James. Kiana James wins.
Yes, she's
Gets the
great.
pin. She's really, really good. Here's who I think should be the first women's NXT North American champion. Is her.
That's a very good call.
Here's who I think won't be her. I wouldn't mind seeing her be the actual champion. I don't know. The people we have one repeat question in the chat. Who do we think beats Roxanne for the title if she gets called up? And they haven't set up anybody.
No, well, it's so hard because
there's like the thing of it is like Dragunov loses to Trick. It's pretty obvious. That's a pretty easy way for Dragunov gets called up. Trick beats him before he goes up. That makes sense. Trick is
going up.
No, but if he is, but what I'm saying is if Dragunov goes up, then Trick beats him for it. If Ilia, we'll talk about this later. If Ilia beats Trick, then Trick's going up. That's what they've done. So that's actually a pretty good little thing. Honestly, I don't even know who the main roster wants more right now. So that's a cool little setup. But there's no like babyface that's hanging around that is right there ready for that little nudge to have a match with Roxanne like there is with Trick. There's nothing, they don't have anything right there that's like that. So they're already doing a tournament for the North American Women's Championship. They can't do another tournament at the same time. I mean, they can. Please, God, no. But, like, I don't know.
I mean, maybe that's where Julia comes in. Maybe they have her come in and do that.
They just drop her in there immediately right now. Cool.
You know what, Alex? We've been wrong about main roster call-ups many a time.
No, that's never happened. Not once. Certainly not repeatedly with the same person over the course of a year and a half.
You know what? You're right. We've never been wrong about anything. Now that you mentioned that.
But
some people have a hard time going up. You know what I mean?
A hard time being hard?
A hard time. Yeah, maybe hard. They have a difficult time.
Oh, okay.
Going up.
All right. I see now.
They're not having hard times is the issue. You know what I mean?
No, it's not hard times, Daddy.
Sometimes they're not getting called up in the way that they were hoping for. They go up and they're not there as long as they were hoping. There's just a lot of back and forth. You know what I mean?
Up, down, whichever which like where are you going?
Oh my God, they're getting called up. They're getting sent down. It's a lot. So if only there was something that could help.
Is your sex life stuck in developmental? Well, get ready for a call-up with BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but how about this? No awkward in-person visits, no trips to the pharmacy. It's shipped straight to your door in a discreet package. But let me tell you, your package is not going to be discreet when you use Blue Chew, and the code FIGHTFUL helps give you that confidence, that performance to take you straight to the main event, if you know what I'm saying. When approved online by one of our physicians, it just arrives straight to your door. You're not going to have people nosing around with what you're doing. And right now, you get your first shipment free when you use the code FIGHTFUL. Go straight to the top. You know what I mean. Memorable performance, high spot, whatever other innuendos you can think of. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL.
Just Alex, after my segue on that.
So Luis says the person that beats Rox will probably be Julia in her debut match. Yes.
I actually don't hate that. I actually don't hate that.
I think what they should do is Roxanne gets called up, drafted, and then the next time NXT is on the air, she comes out to be like, sayonara, suckers. I'm taking this with me, and I'm never coming back. This is mine now. You'll never have another women's champion here because I'm taking this with me. And Ava comes out and says, actually, Roxanne, you can take that with you if you can beat your challenger tonight. Who is it? Who is it? Who here haven't I beat yet? There's nobody in the back who could beat me. Julia. And then Julia beats her. It's a good match, but it's short. Julia beats her. Roxanne goes up. Roxanne gets to be great, and Julia is the new champion. Do it.
I'm into that. I like that.
Yeah. Luis says, I feel like the calendar and everything that happened maybe wasn't the original idea about a pivot. You think?
I like that you gave us 90s sitcom sarcasm with the "you think," as I've been making all of these Full House references along the way.
Could it be any more of a pivot?
No, really?
Everything is a pivot. They never have good ideas. They always have to go back and retcon. So
pivot.
No Quarter Catch Club. NQCC. Nakwika. That's how you pronounce it. Nakwika. They are talking about Bloodsport. Charlie Dempsey is.
They are.
And
very cool.
And he does not mention the person's name who gave him the black eye, but I will. Matt Mikowski, who will be on In the Weeds tomorrow morning.
Look at you with the Pluggarooski.
The very guy who gave a shiner to the son of William Regal will be on Fightful's airwaves.
A Scott Shiner?
Morning.
Oh my god, I'm so funny. Very cool that WWE mentioned Bloodsport on their program. Very cool that they're continuing to break out of their little WWE bubble. Absolutely adore that. I gotta say, and I've said it before, Techers are not like intimidating when they're not twisting people's.
Well, they're
like,
not teching.
they're not.
Techers are not.
Guys,
no, we're not teching. Yeah,
that's part of why I love them so much.
Yeah.
But like this, like the No Quarter Catch Club, where they're like,
the original guy for this was Dean Malenko, 5'0" nothing, a little bit of a pot belly, like he looks 10 years older than he is, and then he'll literally separate all of your tendons from your bones.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's that energy.
Like Bryan Danielson is not like.
Right.
Zack Sabre Jr. looked like Gumby for the first 15 years of his career. Like, come on now. But like the posturing in the ring is killing me every single time of the like, and the camera work, like making them like, no, Techers are intimidating. Like, it's my favorite thing in the world, and no, you're not.
Right. So this is where what's his the family. They say that Tony's in Boca for the week. Like he's gone to a spa. I love it. And so Tony, so Stax and Luca come in and say we'll beat up you guys. So they have a match later. There you go.
That's it.
Yeah, you can make the same statement about Malenko for Timothy Thatcher. Although I disagree. Timothy Thatcher looks like he would murder me. He looks like he would murder me for a piece of pizza. That dude.
He also looks like he's British, but
well, yeah, it's true. But he does look very, very, very angry all the time. So Javon Evans has his first match. And
he sure did.
He faced SCRYPTS. SCRYPTS likes to talk some smack with OTM and Jaida Parker. They say that when you beat him, then I'm gonna win my match later. We'll be 2 for 2 tonight. And they do their little. They're a couple of really good camera shots. 3 of them that I remember. The entrance to the start with one, then they show Trick showing up in his car, and then the drone goes over there and around the corner, and we see Bron and Baron walking toward it. That was cool. And then following OTM to the ring, that was cool too. A lot of fun stuff here. I like the production a lot. What they're doing with NXT. Improving a lot. So, speaking of improving a lot, Javon Evans doesn't need to. He's 19 and he's already he's great. He will improve. He doesn't need to. Like, this is it. This is the finished product.
You can post for the rest of your life if you want. Please don't. I would like to see how high your ceiling is. But if you were like, you know what, I figured it out by 19.
Yeah.
Control. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
He is huge.
He is.
Like this, when I say huge, I mean he's like as a star. Like he will be a gigantic star for them.
Yeah.
And the young OG thing is really going to catch on. It's already hugely here in NXT, but it like these are people who watch Level Up tapings, so it's the same 300 people every week. Sure. Or mostly the same 300 people every week.
It's at least the same 250 out of 300 people every week.
So they're already familiar with his work. They're helping to make him seem even bigger now he's on TV as opposed to Peacock. And it works. That all works out. It is funny that they decided, who can we have him wrestle against? That can, play
their flippy guy
and ground him. Who's gonna ground Javon Evans? Work against this rest hold, kid. It's also flippy guy, super flippy guy. Scripts. He's just listen. You know how we talk about? I'm sorry, none of the rest of you can do this move anymore because this person now does it. Perfect.
Like a Montez Ford frog splash. Like, stop.
Montez Ford frog splash. We decided that B-Fab now has retired the pump kick for all females.
B-Fabs. Nobody else
now. Sorry, nobody else can get to do that. I'm sorry, Cody. You can no longer do a Cody cutter. I'm sorry, Will Ospreay. The spring off the middle rope into a cutter. That's Javon Evans's now. That's it. Nobody else gets to do. If you can't get at least as high as he gets, then you're not allowed to try it.
Freaking sanity. Yes, the springboard cutter was absolutely bananas. Will Ospreay will be fine. He has a few other moves, as does Cody.
Yeah, no, he can do other things.
He's got some other things in the arsenal, the old Will Ospreay.
But this is the thing with the week. Just do this. Like he's no. Like it's I don't know. I mean, I'm not. He's 19 now. I don't know how long he's been doing this. Is there film of him doing stuff in PWG? Because I think he would go through the ceiling. Like he's like he says I'm bouncy. He is that. That would be an understatement.
The thing though is this is what I get kind of frustrated with. Not anything to do with him. Perception. Because he's like a lot more than bouncy, and they use that. Bouncy makes it feel like, oh my gosh, I was in Mattress Firm and there was nobody in attendance, so I was bouncy on the mattresses while nobody was looking. Like his, I was very impressed by his footwork. I was very I'm very rarely impressed by moves except when they're done this well, but moves without wrestling context are stunts, and that's very impressive athleticism is what that is. What I'm impressed by is all the other stuff that he does really great already, including just the incredible amount of poise he had going into this. The video package that they did for this, where he was like, oh, sick, I get my own highlight reel. Like playful, light, human being energy. He does not have a weird job in addition to being a wrestler. This is all I want. Like, he's not like, look at me. I'm an athletic phenom with a chill attitude and also a construction worker for some reason. Like, we don't need to do that. Look at this guy. He's incredible.
Yes.
So I'm glad that we got away from that. But like, I was impressed by the wrestling match aspect of this too, where he was ready for what he stepped into. All of his athleticism was not superfluous, which is the thing that drives me the most nuts. Everything made sense. So I really, really, really liked that aspect of it because everyone is going to be impressed by that type of athleticism, and they should be. It's incredible. But to me, I'm like, okay, what else can you do? That's not just reps of this one thing. He's brilliant. He's really, really, really good. So
my one regret is it will be almost 20 years before he gets a serious push because he's only 19. 19 years. You have to wait until he's 38 to get a real push. He will not be main eventing any pay-per-views for a good 19 years. That's too bad because he's 38.
That's tough. I do kind of want to see him and Montez Ford and just like a trick shot type thing. That would be really cool.
Yeah. He's been wrestling since 2018 when he was 14 years old. DPW Deathblock Pro was where he was doing a lot of stuff.
Hell yeah, they do great work. Support them.
So yeah, absolutely. I believe we should be building this guy for something. And again, this feels like a guy who, Obafemi. He has his first. This is again. I'm all for taking your time with a guy like this and telling an overall story. While you're telling the story of Obafemi, unbeatable North American champion, you tell the story of Javon Evans, who eventually will beat him for it a year and a half from now. Early on in Javon Evans' career, he gets a match with Obafemi, who beats the tar out of him. And he's like, wow, I never faced anybody that big. And he's, but I'm coming for that title again. I don't know when, but I'm coming for that title again. And then months later, he gets another shot and gets a lot closer this time, but Obafemi beats him. And then months later, he gets another shot and finally beats Obafemi. This whole time, playfully, he needles Oba like, you beat the crap out of me, big man. Next time, though, getting that title. And Oba's like, what are you talking about? Like, what? I barely remember facing you. Like, there could be some really cool overarching both parallel storylines if you want to do it that way. I love the idea of building him to take the title off of Oba, but Oba shouldn't be losing any time in the calendar year of 2024, at the very least.
Obafemi should be, the math was done for us by Sefa in the chat yesterday, or Sifa on the Slack chat of what Gunther's time in WWE has looked like. And he was champion for 850 plus days with the NXT UK title. And then for 666 days was your Intercontinental title holder. And that was 80% of his sign time has been as a champion. Feels like Obafemi should be in a similar path to that of he should feel that unbeatable. He should feel that important. He should feel that dominant. And I would love to see that momentum continue in a similar fashion with him. MD Cyclo said, great, like Javon Evans can beat him in 20, 30 years or whatever.
Sounds good.
Which sounds like a plan. There's also someone being weird in the chat who said something about that I'm only
not even worth addressing.
No, but I do just want to say they were like, Kate's only here to get told how amazing she is. And yes, like, tell me I'm amazing. Send in super chats, like pay to tell me I'm amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. Obafemi should lose the title via sleeper, just like Walter.
You hated that ending.
I just didn't think he should pass. I didn't think he should tap out. If he passed out, I would have loved it. I just did not believe a guy who was champion for 800 days would willingly give up the title. I understand, like, getting choked out, you panic, whatever. But I would have. We've seen enough being choked out instead of giving up finishes. They always make the guy who loses look better to me. And that's the one thing I would have changed about that match. That's it. It just
Yeah, but that ruined it for you because I know you.
well, I have watched the match since, and I'm more lenient with it at this point. But I still think if he had fell asleep in the grip of a much smaller man and woken up not the champion anymore, like what that would have done to Walter / Gunther would have made him want to be champion again even more. That's all.
I appreciate you guys. And I love that about Alex. That not perfect ending are his toxic trait. And you're right in that it would have been better. Mm-hmm. I do feel like it was special still, but I do agree with you. Yeah, I'm with you on all this.
Luis says that the rant after that match was sensational. LOL. I have not gone back and listened to that one. I'm not necessarily proud of it in hindsight, but at the time, I did not understand why that man tapped out. So, speaking of not proud of things, Rich Holland. So I don't know what it is we're doing with this thing, but like he hit Joe Gacy with a chair, and he didn't mean to. The interviewer, I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. She's getting made up. She's in the makeup chair, like going over what she needs to like say. One of her note cards, and then she's like, "Oh, Ridge, I wanted to talk to you. Hey, thanks for stepping in and being part of the pre-show thing. But why'd you hit Joe Gacy with a chair?" "Oh yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't actually mean to do that. I don't know. I blacked out. I hit Joe. Have you seen Joe? I want to say I'm sorry to him." And then Joe is like, "Hi, I'm here behind the curtain. It's okay, Ridge. I don't mind. It was fine. I like getting hit with chairs." And he leaves. And Ridge is like, "Ah," and he runs away. And then he runs into the LWO guys. And what I want to know is, did you film this today? Did you make the LWO guys fly down here from Philadelphia? Did they a lot of them live in Orlando.
It's like a 3-hour flight. That's not that bad.
But still, like if they have to like get on a flight and go to wherever SmackDown is, like they got to fly.
That's true.
Just let them go from there. Whatever. Anyway,
it's about drive. It's about power.
They're like, "Hey, man, we remember you on SmackDown beating the crap out of everybody, and now you're like playing nice. We don't buy it." He just shoves past them and walks out the door, and they try and go after him, but he slams the door behind him and crushes Cruz del Toro's hand. And then they're very angry about it. Kelly Kincaid. Sorry.
Kelly Kincaid.
I should know they all have the same friggin' Megan Morant, Mackenzie Mitchell, Kelly Kincaid, Kathy Kelly. They all have the dual consonants. I should have known it was Kelly Kincaid.
They definitely have they love their alliteration for their backstage gals. Which is weird that they didn't keep Quinn McKay's name, actually, now that, that I was saying that. So a couple things. I do appreciate that we are getting more natural settings for things on WWE television. Like, people practice things backstage, and it isn't like cartoonishly waiting for someone to show up, except for the person who is randomly everywhere and nowhere.
Right.
And Joe Gacy. And I also that like Joe Gacy's really good at this stuff. Mm-hmm. Joe Gacy accidentally calling him a loser, kind of like him just spouting out, but saying like, "Well, yeah, you used to be a big deal in the ring, and now you were just a panelist at the biggest show of the year. Like, I understand why you would feel like such a downfall." Mm-hmm. But like his delivery just told this story of like, I'm not being intentionally malicious or insulting. I'm just out of my damn mind, and I'm just saying things. Really, really good with that. Really, really good with that. Even in wrestling terms, that's like the shortest retirement ever. And this is wrestling where people retire and unretire all the time. I don't know what
happened. I must have blacked out. I don't know what I did. Okay, I guess we'll see. Lieutenant Colonel Photo says Kate is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And then also says my wife also says Kate is amazing.
Thank you. I think your wife's amazing, and you.
And then Will Chisholm says, "Hey, Kate, you're amazing."
Well, thank you.
And then Will Chisholm also says, as an ex-college basketball player, it's not fair that the kid can jump out of the gym like that. Some people just they're just bouncy. They're just bouncy. Bron and Baron backstage being fun, just hanging out, teasing each other, being buds.
Did you like this? I didn't know if you would.
I thought every time they do it, like as long as they don't have dumb jokes, but it feels like they're being naturally friends. I like that a lot. Sometimes the jokes feel like they're written, and it doesn't feel like they're naturally having a conversation.
Sure,
I like that better than like, here's a joke we wrote. Say it to each other.
You didn't like the sun joke.
You comedy duo. Yeah, I know. Like, hey, Abbott and Costello, come here and do this scripted routine. That's what it felt like, and I don't want that. I like just this conversational friendship, the bromance between these two guys. I like it. And if Braun is getting called up to SmackDown permanently, he needs to bring Baron with him. Like, this is working for both of them. I think Braun will be fine just squashing a guy every 3 weeks on SmackDown until they figure out what to do with him. But Baron, I fear him being adrift without Braun. Like it works really well, them as a team. And like before, as a singles guy in NXT, it never felt like it clicked. You know, before they teamed, like he had some good matches here and there and a couple of good little mini feuds, but it never felt like it really clicked. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you guys as a tag team, that rules. Let's just do that. And I think it would really work. I think they should show up on Friday and beat Theory and Waller for the tag team titles. Just do it on Friday. Do it immediately. I think it would be great. This sucks. I mean, it's nice that they give a speech, but Braun deferred with speech of the NXT site and thanked everyone, including Baron, so it doesn't look like they're going to be together.
He may have thanked him and still been going.
Maybe that's part of the gag. We're supposed to think they're not going together, so it's part of the swerve. But
he might have thanked Baron Corbin just for the tag run that they had. That doesn't mean he's not necessarily going with him.
Maybe
we'll being an important part of time in NXT. They should go together, and your concern about Baron Corbin being adrift is it's a grounded one, and it makes sense because he's burned all the ships. So you don't want to be adrift without any ships.
No, you're just like,
he's a ship arsonist.
He's just holding onto a door, floating in there. He doesn't even have, like it's just him and Kate Winslet, and she won't let him on the damn door.
Oh,
I mean, he's a lot bigger than Leonardo DiCaprio, so I understand. But there's definitely room on the door, Kate. And yes, I'm talking to you. All Kates bear the brunt of her horrible betrayal in those freezing waters of the Atlantic.
Kates. I would never. I want Baron Corbin to go up because I feel like he's pulled a lot of. This is the most natural, comfortable version of Braun that we've ever seen, and I don't want that to get lost either. And I also don't want him to go to the main roster and everyone to realize he's only 5'10", and then all of a sudden he flames out. Like, I think him as hot tag guy with Baron Corbin absolutely rules. I think they could do some really fun work in the tag division, and they're great together. They're great together. Like, it's really fun. They looked great in the loss tonight. But my thing is, too, I think Baron Corbin has a lot more value than people have realized. And I think people are realizing it now, kind of in the same way as Dijak, where it's like, oh, this guy is giving people, pulling the best out of other people. I think Dijak does it differently and to a higher extent. Mm-hmm. But like, this is probably the best Braun break occur that we've ever seen. And I think a lot of that has to do with like something just clicked with I wouldn't say Braun Breaker has had like a ton of chemistry and backstages with anybody. Right. And he hasn't been like a media darling necessarily as far as interviews go, where it's like, it doesn't seem like he gets comfortable. But he's been very comfortable with Baron Corbin. So I want, for both of their sake, them to go back up. And also, like, Baron Corbin's a main roster talent. We've seen it before. King of the Ring is coming up. Throw him back in that shit. Do whatever you gotta do. But no, send them up.
Are they doing King of the Ring?
King and Queen of the Ring are coming back, yeah.
They said they were going to do it? I missed it.
Yeah.
No? Good.
MD Cyclo pointing out something really important in the chat, which is that Natty is a ship that cannot be burned.
No,
because she's a boat.
She's not a ship. She's a boat.
It's true.
Oh, King and Queen of the Ring are going to be Sands of Time? Oh, great.
Sands of Time.
Announced at Mania. I missed that. Awesome. Good,
Yeah.
Good thing I was watching all of WrestleMania and I did not see it. Did it happen because I swear to God, I subscribed to Peacock Premium Plus and they still have me on the commercial thing and I can't figure out how to switch it.
I honestly don't remember seeing it. I just heard about it through the discourse.
Anyway. Okay. So we got Roxanne defeating Natalya because Lola Vice. So here's the deal with this. You know how much I hate distractions and interferences and stuff like this. However, in this case, it works. The reason I hate them so much is because they do it all the time when it doesn't need to happen. This actually makes sense. Now, I don't think Natalya should be getting this close to beating Roxanne, your new NXT champ. I think that's probably a bad idea, considering Natalya doesn't win a lot on the main roster, but okay. However, we already know she's locked in something with Lola Vice. Like, they've been pissing in each other's corners for a while now. They don't like it. They don't like each other. They're very territorial. You screwed up with me, I'll screw with you, back and forth. So it's a perfect thing for Lola to come out and screw with Natty. And that makes sense. And you protect Natty, and Roxanne gets to win. There you go. That's fine. And I did also like Roxanne like rolling over, looking at Lola like, thanks, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like she was like, oh, good, my friend Lola Vice is here. We are friends now because we are both heels. Like, it wasn't that. And I like that a lot. So this was a good match. You know, it's a natty match. It's never bad.
I really liked this.
It's never bad, but to me, it's never like, wow, that was amazing. It's just always very solid work.
Roxanne's great.
She is.
Roxanne's great, and Natalya continuing to give people really good matches. I really liked this. Something about Natalya and her, just her and her fundamentals world, and Roxanne being very good at working with that. Her wrestling instincts are incredible. I don't understand how this girl is under 25 years old, like by a few years. Things like you just said of it not being like a cartoonish, well, you're a heel and I'm a heel, so now we're best friends thing, of her being like, I'll take it. Like, we don't get a lot of that down here. We don't get a lot of that in these here parts of NXT. Everything's very exaggerative. And I just liked the way this match was pieced together. Like, even the shot into the stairs, for us, considering how much smaller Roxanne is, like, she knows how to make things look really good. Like, part of why I liked her so much as a baby dog, a babyface underdog. Part of why I liked her as a puppy, baby dog, is partly because of her size. Now, I'm not saying everybody who's small has to wrestle as a babyface underdog or a baby dog, as the case may be. But when you do have that, and you have this natural thing that Roxanne has disposition-wise, where it makes it very easy to root for her, that's a fun combination for this. Her being able to transform that heel-wise is pretty unbelievable, because it's a complete psychological switch. She's adapted her moveset to it, and Natalya's got some height and weight on her. So I was just very impressed by the way she was able to make things look convincing despite the size disparity and too much of a 180 from who she used to be. Baby dog.
Babyface underdogs will now be called baby dogs. according to and at Miss Kayfabe. I love it. It's now canon.
It's like the ghost of Dusty Rhodes being the dust of Ghosty Rhodes.
Baby dog.
Why can't I say words?
Baby dog.
Baby dog.
Cyclo says I need to go find Dijak's tweet, which I'll do because we're definitely running short on time right now. So here we go. Gonna beat Homeboy so badly he will think he's in the Meta 5 with Alicia Folks.
Oh, the most 4K thing in the world.
So Cogged says, hear me out. I enjoy Roxanne, but haven't seen the next GOAT that everyone else has yet. Could it be that I didn't watch 2.0 but haven't seen it yet? Well, no, she wasn't really part of 2.0. That she was around in the latter stages, like after they went to the post 2.0 thing. A lot of it is that she was the ROH Women's Champ at like 19 years old.
Yes.
And has been a prodigy for now several years. And it's, I think that what it is with her to me is that at the age that she is, like there's a sixth sense about where to be, like as precisely as within a quarter of an inch to do all of the things and have all of the things done to you. If you're a half step off, everything's going to look wonky. And it takes a while for a lot of people to like get to the point where they're in the right place all the time, or even 90% of the time. She's never in the wrong place. Ever. And so everything looks so smooth. Everything is, the timing is all perfect. Her footwork is immaculate. Like she's only going to get better and better as this character thing develops.
Yeah.
Both babyface and heel. But the fact that at 22 you're like, oh, I just know instinctively where to be at all times
For everything.
You're so far ahead of the game if at 22 you're doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
she does a lot of very little things right.
Yes. I mean, listen, the match to me to watch to illustrate what she possibly can be is the match versus Meiko Satomura, where she beat her,
brilliant.
Retained,
it's brilliant.
and then everything fell apart after that. But like that match is amazing. So Stax and Luca beat Damon, Kemp, and Myles Borne. This was good. It didn't. Was there a specific beef that they had going into this match? I mean, are we getting Tony D as the Heritage Cup champion? Is that what's coming out of this? Because he's got to have to eat spaghetti out of it. Like that's going to have to be a thing that happens if he wins the Heritage Cup championship.
That would be hysterical. There's going to be, by the way, I just got a message that there'll be a Drew Gulak update on FightfulSelect.com, possibly on the free tier. They're figuring that out right now.
Okay.
So stay tuned for that. I don't know if there was like a specific beef. I do know Luca Crusifino needs to have a cartoonish accent. I cannot.
I mean,
this guy sounding like a human being. It feels wrong.
Okay, so either I agree with the accent. I think he needs to work on it. They need to get a dialect coach down there, help him out. However, either Stax has to wrestle in slacks, or Luca has to wrestle in gear. Because they can't be out there doing tag stuff. And I actually think they look really good. They won with a friggin' shatter machine.
Yeah, they did.
They're a tag team now. So now we got to figure out what's the gear. How are we doing this? Like you either wrestle both in street clothes, whatever the version of the underboss street clothes is, and Luca like comes down in his suit and takes off the top and wrestles in the slacks and the dress shoes or whatever it is, or you get some kind of matching gear that looks like gear. But you can't be one and the other. That's very off-putting to me.
No, it's gotta. Yeah, you're right. It's gotta get more cohesive than that.
Yeah. But I liked the match. and I'm very excited that they went with a Shatter Machine, because I think that match, every tag team division all over the world should have a team that finishes things with Shatter Machine, because it's the coolest freaking. Like, the first time I ever saw the Revival take out a guy doing that, like, I thought they shoot murdered him, because it wasn't like sometimes it happens like it's to the upper chest.
Sure.
That dude, his teeth went into Dash's knees. Like, I was like, oh, that dude's got no teeth now. Like, call a dentist, that guy's done. And I love when that thing is taken right. Ooh, it looks amazing. I loved it.
That was one of Stax's best outings, I felt like, too. Like, he looked really good in this, which is nice to see. I like seeing growth. That's fun.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What are they gonna mob themed name they could give the Shatter Machine?
I mean, we can't switch pun topics in the middle of it, but I feel like people should send in their suggestions.
Yeah.
I mean, we always are like the sleep with the fishes, but that's so
Right.
obvious, you know.
Right.
I would like it to be specific to the move.
I believe now they've not been consistent with what they call Tony's spinning neck breaker thing that he does, his little fisherman's neck breaker.
No, the spinning neck breaker, that rules too.
But a couple of times they said, forget about it, which is what I pitched as the name of it, because when he hits it on you, you get low grade amnesia. You literally get
there are no thoughts anymore.
If that's not what they're calling his move, they can call this that. You know what I mean?
Look at the layers from True Infamous.
Nice. Batter.
The batter machine when we're doing baseball puns.
That's good. That's very
Girls.
good. Speaking of which, let's do some of those right now.
Let's do that. And before we do, I'll just do our usual, because we only have one sponsor tonight, to remind you to subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. There's so much news. Sean didn't even know what to tease on Twitter, and I also don't know what to tease, but there's so much going on. You also have nights 1 and 2 of WrestleMania post shows with me and Alex. My mom makes her debut, but if you want to catch up on our thoughts on Mania, they're back there. We always do that with pay-per-view post shows that are not NXT, because NXT ones we got right here on the main. So go check those out. And we play video games. We found an Oba Femi that we downloaded, and he rules. And Oba Femi rules in every form, even the pixel form or whatever they're called for video games. And who else did we play yesterday?
I showed off the Will Hobbs model. I need
Will Hobbs model. That was other
Takeshita versus Okada. That was fun.
A rare non-ZSJ night yesterday.
Yes, it was. Hold on. Where did it go? I love this. The Italian Job.
Oh, perfect.
Or, and I like this a lot too, but it's very local. The Jersey Turnpike. It's a really cool name for it too.
I live like here, so I'm biased, but yeah.
I like that. There could be some good stuff there. So here we go. Baseball puns. Insert clever Tegan Knox pun. Tegan knocks it out of the park.
I pulled out my headphones, but I still heard the Tegan knocks it out of the park. God bless you for being as committed to the bit of Tegan Knox puns.
True Infamous says Bruce Pitcher. Kim Gray letting me know that she went to high school with Brandon Woodruff, who is a pitcher for the Brewers, who is probably never going to pitch the same way again because he's having elbow surgery, and that always sucks.
That's sad.
He's out for the year with elbow surgery. We had 2 aces of the staff. One of them won the Cy Young a couple of years ago, traded him to Baltimore for nothing. And then our other ace out for the year with elbow surgery. It's going to be a great year. Tom LaValle says one-winged Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Okay, so excellent pun. But here's my other thing with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. That's just when you translate it, and I don't speak Spanish. Luis does. He can confirm. Isn't that just the Angels of Anaheim? I've had a bug on my ass about this for years. What are we doing with that name?
It is the Angels, because it used to be the California Angels.
I know, and the Anaheim Angels.
Right, and yes. And then, for some reason, the owner of the team, bought votes from all the other owners so they would vote that he could change it to Los Angeles because he thought he could sell more merch worldwide if they were the Los Angeles Angels and not the Anaheim Angels.
I mean, not the California Angels. I get because you have 5 baseball teams in California. That's a lot. That's a lot to clean the whole state. But also shout out to Sean who's participating in puns. We're wearing him down, Alex. We're gonna make it.
We're gonna get this. We're gonna get it on. We're gonna get it onto the AW shows. I know.
Songs.
It's gonna be. He's gonna love it. True Infamous says Chicago J White Sox.
That's very good.
True Infamous says Minnesota Bella Twins.
That's very good.
KC Royal Rumble, Kansas City Royal Rumble.
Okay.
And Foul Ball Mike Bailey.
Very nice. Very nice puns.
Louisville says Barry Bondage Undertaker.
That was just Damien Priest yesterday, but
yes. Lieutenant Colonel Photo says AEW All Infield.
Very nice.
Also AEW All Outfield. But
I like outfield because all in should be cricket puns.
Lieutenant Colonel Photo says Angel Garza in the outfield.
Very nice. Plus, it's a baseball movie, which rules.
Mm-hmm. Ronald Hollick says Brian Keith Hernandez.
It's really good.
True Infamous says LA Dodgers, yeah.
Everybody's saying LA Dodgers, yeah.
Yep. Electric Mayhem says Yuka Sacrifice Fly. And the Yips Sabian.
The Yips Sabian. Oh no. Chuck Knobloch memories. Oh no. Remember when you hit Keith Olbermann's mom at the stands? What happened? He was a Gold Glove second baseman.
No, gone.
Anyway, those are baseball feelings.
Chris Perez says Giancarlo Stanton deliver.
Giancarlo Stanton and deliver.
Jesse Ozog says Meatball Jericho.
Fair. Just fair all around.
Uh-huh. And Undertaker's donger.
Can someone explain to me the Undertaker's dong thing? Because that came up yesterday and I had no idea what you were talking about.
Well, that's the sound it makes. Dong.
It's a gong.
But it sounds like dong. So whenever he would show, this was a while ago when he would show up all the time, like in a build of Mania or something.
Sure.
And we would be like, oh, the Undertaker's dong showed up. That's what we would say. We would say it all the time. It's fun.
Where was that for my Blue Chew read before? This one's really good from Sean. Great American Nightmare Ballpark. That's really good.
That's good.
And the Amazing Reds was really good before too.
Truthfamous says, big. Well, it's the big Shohei Ohtani.
Wow. But yeah.
MLB, the big show 24.
There you go. That's perfect.
Louisville says, Bron, man, I got to find this because it only works if you look at it. Hold on. There's got to be here somewhere. I got to find it. Where is it? It's so good. I got to find what it looks like. It's so good from Louisville. This is so good. Bron, some of them backwards because
I like that it's called strikeout on some of them.
It's called strikeout. A few of them were called strikeouts.
I like that they're just
struck out looking
in there.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh man, a good day.
That is one of the most clever puns we've ever gotten.
It's a good day at the ballpark for that pitcher.
Yeah, no, he was dealing. Electric Mayhem
Sean's
says,
on a heater, the best trout machine. Very good.
That's good. Electric Mayhem says Aaron Solo home run.
Very nice.
Taya Balkery.
Very good. Very good.
And ABBA doubleheader. And True Infamous says Boston Red Velvet Sox.
Very good.
Top Guys outfield. True Infamous says send Shohei Hoktani. Ronald Hollick says 7th inning abdominal stretch.
I like that one a lot.
Meat Norma says fastball Mike Bailey and Blackpool Canicorn.
Ooh, I like that. Very niche.
And Electric Mayhem says the rain delay maker Okada.
Very nice. That was my whole experience working in upstate New York in AA. A lot of rain delays in upstate New York. A lot of double headers from getting snowed out for the first month of the season.
Anthony, going, gone. Luchador Bendejo says the Sandlot of Time. Sandlot of Time. And Lieutenant Colonel Photo says, take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the piped-in crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cactus Jacks. Kate, stop being so mean to Corey.
Okay, that didn't really have to do anything with it, but
root for the.
Look, Corey is new and he's been great, so I have to haze him. You got to keep him knocked down a peg, okay? Corey's awesome.
Christian batting cage.
Very nice.
This is in his wheelhouse. You can tell this is a fun in his wheelhouse.
I know he
wouldn't be here doing other ones. He wouldn't play with us.
Comes over and plays with us.
No, this is good. Will Chisholm says, I can see Dusty Rhodes holding up a little baby Cody up in the air like the Lion King, saying, "You will be the greatest baby dog in the world."
I'm never gonna live that one down.
Nope, never, not once.
Baby face underdog being baby dog. My God.
3 strikes, you're out the mud.
Very nice. Very nice, Michael David.
Oba Femi comes out and
the world stops.
It's so good. He puts over. By the way, you know what? There's something about now that they allow certain people to come out when they're not having a match to cut a promo in their street clothes.
Yes.
I love his street clothes style.
Yeah.
I don't know how close it is to his own style, but like Oba Femi's character style of the polos that are just stretching to bursting with his giant muscles. It's a really cool old school look. Like you'd see guys dressed like that when they were given a promo in NWA in the studio. Like it just feels very old school. I love all the bracelets and everything. He just looks so friggin' menacing, but like you'd like if you're walking through the grocery store and you see a guy looking like that, you're like, dude, that dude's don't mess with that guy. Like this is a guy, not necessarily 6'6", but just yoked inside a shirt is really intimidating.
We talked about it earlier too, like we're getting refreshed production changes. It feels like a lot in NXT. We're getting more natural settings for the backstages. Seeing that translate here too is awesome. And also Oba Femi is perfect and he's never done anything wrong and he'll never do anything wrong. And he's the best.
Scorpio Skydome.
It's very shot on a heater.
He is. Penta, El Cerro, and 1 count.
Because it's like 0-1, not 0-1.
That's not 0.
Yeah, that's right.
They're
not all going to be winners.
Zach Wheeler Yuta. Because Kitty is a Phillies
Very
fan.
nice. Very nice.
This is good. Samoa Shoeless Joe, Shoeless Samoa Joe. That's good. And Minoru Ichiru Suzuki.
That's very good.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, he's like, he's putting over Briggs and Dijak, but like, if they were strong, I am stronger. Like his post match thing when he was like, they hit hard, but I hit harder. Like, I love it. And here's the thing I love. I love when because he speaks really, really good English, but there's certain like all of a sudden with in translating in his head into English, inevitable, and then he says inevitable, and I'm like, oh, that's it, man. Yeah, you are the most inevitable man I've ever seen in my life, and I will only pronounce it like that in honor of you for the rest of my life. He's inevitable. And then Ivar comes out. And speaking of street clothes, I did not know Ivar owned any. I have never seen this man.
I didn't know Vikings did.
I did not know that he owned t-shirts. I thought he just went to bed in furs and woke up in them, and then he He's different furs, but like he's fur breeches and things like that. But yeah,
Valhalla definitely does. So that's got to be weird when they're just like,
Yeah.
"Hey, let's go to Starbucks or whatever."
Yeah, no.
And like he's just in his t-shirt, and she's like,
Yep.
"No, I've got this whole
No.
thing." But
Right. Yeah.
yeah, people in the chat are saying the same thing. Casual wear Ivar blew my mind. Like,
Yeah.
yes, Alex, we got what we wanted.
Yeah.
I'm Ron Burgundy. We called for this a couple weeks ago, and you were like, "It'll never happen." And then Drew McIntyre prayed for it, so it happened.
I'm a big fan of like, you bring me your largest and your strongest, I will crush them all.
Yeah.
Just it's so cool that Ivar's like, but he cuts the promo saying, "I watched your match. I loved your match mostly because I wanted to be in it too, because I wanted to experience that violence." And they have a little brawl here, and he gets the better of him because he does in skinny jeans a cartwheel and then a springboard middle rope crossbody. And I'm sure we're going to be doing that at Spring Break again, which will be in 2 weeks. It'll be a 2-week show, but the first match will be the first of the 2 weeks will be in 2 weeks, which will be these 2 weeks bookend the draft.
Yes.
Specifically, Ilia Dragunov later says that his title match versus Trick Williams will be in 2 weeks, the first of the two, which to me says that whoever loses that match gets drafted on Friday or Monday. And that's a kind of a cool thing that they did there.
With Oba Femi, I'm so impressed by I remember saying this a lot about Miro in AEW with his TNT title reign. That there are title reigns that make the wrestler, and there are wrestlers that make the title reigns, and the most magical title reigns in the world to me do both. I feel like we're getting that with Oba Femi. Everything I said earlier about like him being tested with Dragon Lee, who's so different from Ivar, who's so different from a triple threat with Briggs and Dijak. Like, I think they're throwing him into all of these different contexts, but I also think after the North American title was like on Dominic and then on Trick for a second, it was supposed to go to Mustafa, but Mustafa got released. Like, this now feels like we've restored a lot to the North American title, and that is very, very cool. And just Allie Albright, please don't forget Emily's chips. She's begging you in the chat.
Yeah. We saying Ivar was wearing the shitty little wrestling boots with denim pants. Put him on the Fashion Hall of Fame. Yep.
Roddy's shitty little boots.
So Metaphor hanging out backstage, and Omar Mensa. Is that his name?
Oro Mensa?
Oro Mensa. I don't know, Omar. Oro Mensa.
Oro Mensa.
Is like that Oba Femi. I'm going to be the one that takes the title off of him. You are going to be a greasy spot on the canvas, man. You are not the guy who's taking the title off of him. I feel like it is a bad idea when you just watched like him do what he did to Briggs and Dijak, and knowing he's going to have a match with Ivar that he's definitely going to win. That you're like, I'll be the one to do it. It'll be me. And I'm like, nope. And then Dijak walks in and is like, which one of you wrote the skit that made fun of me? And Noam Dar's like, I did. And so now next week we're getting that. So
I like that Dijak goes, you all get a warning. You're out of warnings, basically, to Noam Dar. Just the way he delivered that, I really liked. This is the most Kate thing in the world. Dijak versus Noam Dar. I'm so excited about that. But I think we've talked a lot about how Dijak has been a stalwart of this brand. I should ask Sean, actually, if there's any updates on Dijak's contract, because this was a contract year for him too. But I love that they're using him. Like, we'll get Noam Dar and Dijak, but we'll probably also get Oro Mensa and whatever. Like, him continuing to do work with a faction that probably needs to get a little bit back on track here after Noam Dar's just been kind of waffling after losing the Heritage Cup. Really, really cool stuff. Really cool.
I love Dijak. If they're not,
I love Noam Dar.
If they're not putting a title on him, maybe there's something he can do on the main roster.
I would not mind him getting drafted.
There's a draft coming up. They drafted Apollo Crews last year. He's had 3 matches on television.
Yeah. The thing with Dijak too is I feel like there's this temptation to make him a heavy because he's such a big dude. But the way that they use heavies would kind of bury his personality, and he has such a great personality that I don't want them to do that. So I hope if they do draft him. They draft him into something that is a good situation for him because he's great.
I think you can be a heavy that's not heavy, if that makes sense. Like a bodyguard,
like a big guy behind another dude. Yeah.
Yeah, like he could be a champion for somebody. Like if you want to do anything with me, you got to beat this guy, and you're not beating him. And Dijak just beats people. Like that could be a cool thing for him. I don't know. We'll see.
You know what? He's not.
See.
He's not a baby dog.
He is definitely not a baby dog.
Just out here saying words.
You know who he is though? Brinley Reece.
Brinley Reece is a baby dog.
Brinley Reece is a baby dog, and she loses to Jaida Parker. Jaida Parker's finisher. She does a hip check to the side of the head while you're standing in the middle of the ring. It's this Tony Storm's Sweet Cheeks music, but you're not sitting in the corner. You're doubled over with your head, like you're bent over at the waist, and she just runs with her hip into your face. That was her finisher, and I was like, I've never seen that before. I don't know what to do with that. That looks like an accident. That did not look like it.
Painful, but not intentionally so.
Yeah, like it doesn't look like you can like depend on being able to do that to somebody to win a match. You know what I mean? Like I understand putting a person in the corner and then running and putting it like they gotta
sure.
Here's my head. Please put your butt in my face. You know, it's a weird thing.
It's kind of what I hate about the 619 is like it has to be extremely specific, or like what we saw with Grayson Waller, where he's like, I have to leave the ring to get back in, but it's gonna work. Yeah. I think, just make it a hip attack in the corner. In the center of the ring thing was weird. It also made it feel like it should be something that you hit right before a finisher. Like, let me lay this punishment on you.
I thought that was that was the setup. And then she pinned her with it, and I was like, "Oh."
Carlos, okay. Said the side view,
not the rear view.
So the rear view,
not the rear view. It's the side view. It's the side view. It's the side view. It's like So there we go. But Brinley Reece was out there being Thea Hale's older sister, separated at birth. And I like Malik Blade and Edgerton Ofei out there, but like Booker was just running his mouth at being really mean to them, and I'm like, and Vic's like, they've been working out, trying to get better. It's like, yeah, I guess. Like listen. I mean, I don't know, man. It feels like, because we remember how we had a horrible problem with the New Day when the New Day were in NXT.
Yes,
he does not like Malik Blade and Edgerton Ofei. Booker does not like black tag teams. It feels like it seems like he thinks they're horning in on his action. Like Harlem Heat is the only black tag team.
That's it. They're the only one.
But he likes Out the Mud. I don't understand what his deal is. I'm not sure.
He does like Out the Mud. The New Day stuff was weird because he was trying to make them sound unsuccessful, and they're like the most successful.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was weird. This was very weird. Sometimes that guy just gets on one.
He does. He does.
If he decides he hates you, he fucking hates you.
Louise saying that Jaida used to use the basement lariat, and I'm not sure why she changed it. I don't know either. So backstage, Ariana is talking to a woman who I did not know who that was. Like, listen, I'm all for people like wearing street clothes. Don't give them glasses and change their hairstyle when you put them in street clothes, because Sol Ruca is not somebody I've ever seen with like the hair like yours, with pulled up on kind of on top. Like she's always got her hair down, and she doesn't wear glasses. And so I was like, I don't know who Ariana is talking to.
She did look a lot different. This is.
She looked very different. But
I knew who it was, but I'm not surprised you didn't know who it was.
I did not know who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that she's a surfer?
Yeah, I did know that part, but also not dressed as a surfer.
Yeah,
how am I supposed to know that you're a surfer if you're not wearing a wetsuit all the time?
Yeah. If you're not in the ring, You got a surfboard standing next to you delivering a promo.
Anyway, so they were commiserating about,
They were.
how stuff from the weekend, and then this is we're having a North American Championship tournament, and then Sol Ruga's like, oh yeah, I got dibs on that, and the way that Ariana just like, oh, okay, the way she just very slightly slid away. Listen, I don't like the character, but I love the way she performs it.
Yes.
That's the difference.
There's a big difference.
As long if she wasn't wearing the sash and the tiara, I would love everything about her character. Can we just get rid of the sash and the tiara?
Well, this
I
is
just don't.
we see a lot of this at NXT.
Yeah.
We see Tiffany's the best example of she showed up, daddy's girl tennis player, and then she found her way to it. NXT starts way out there and eventually boils down to what feels like a human being. I'm hoping we're getting away from that based on what we saw with Javon Evans and what we've seen with Oba Femi. You don't need to have weird jobs. You just don't. So,
No.
but yeah, I have the same issue with this that I did with the Maximum Male Models, and you guys know I love Mansoor and Mason. But my whole thing with that was, how do you get it to the ring? I think the Maximum Male Models never had a chance to explore that. But Ariana Grace, like, it doesn't make sense that she can get this character to a wrestling ring, really. So I just want to see them do that with some consistency. But she's great at it. Like, she's very, very funny. Her instincts are great.
Right. So then Lola's there, and Sol and her talk about it, and they're going to have a fight next week.
They are going to have a fight next week.
I'm like, that's not part of the North American tournament, though, because you're not having them have a first round match against each other. I expect they'll have a match in the semifinals, but obviously they should be in the finals together. So hopefully they have a match next week. There doesn't go to a full finish or whatever, and then they have a rematch later. Just happens to be they wind up in the finals. I think that's a good idea.
Well, we know how they book tournaments, so I'm sure it'll all go exactly as we plan.
Wolf Dogs versus the Blurry Boys.
Forgot we called them that. It's been a long week.
That is their name now. They are your new champions, the Blurry Boys. And this was really great. This is the fourth match they've had. They've all been really great. This one was probably my second favorite. I think match number 2 of theirs was the best of the
I think so too.
And this one was really, really good. The one on Saturday was really, really good. Like, it was very odd to me. They were like, we've lost to this team 3 times in a row. We're 0-3 against this team. We think we deserve another shot at the titles. And Ava's like, you know what? You're right. I just have them win the friggin' match in front of 16,000 people on Saturday. Sure. I don't know why we're doing a rematch 2 days later. That doesn't make no sense to me. But this match was great, and I liked that they didn't have Bron spear Corbin. They had Bron stop himself, go, "You okay?" And that's what led to the
awesome
end. Like, his concern for his best friend Baron Corbin, as opposed to this is why they break up. You can't run that angle now because obviously they're best friends.
Well, you hate friendship, so I'm surprised to hear you say that.
No, I'm a big fan of this friendship.
No, this friendship's great.
Other friendships are not.
Our friendship is good, right?
Our friendship is great. Okay.
On
a friendship by friendship basis, I will judge.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. It's not an overarching thing about friendship. This match was very fun. I agree with you. The second one was probably my favorite. It's just that we had no time building in between of like, man, we keep losing to these guys. There's no build back up. Yep. So that's a little bit weird. But I do think, like, I'm glad to see what Axiom and Nathan Frazer do. My first thing was like, I wonder why they didn't win at the pay-per-view, but good for them, I guess. And then my second thing was, what happened to the OC? Who was talking shit about them for weeks, because who comes out next is not the OC. No. This was a very, very weird thing, and it's curious. I'm suspicious.
It feels like they just decided, oh, no, we're not doing OC anymore in NXT. And they just, if and when we see them again, they'll be on Raw or SmackDown. You might see them get drafted. You know what I mean? Like,
That's probably what they'll do.
You know,
They'll
I
probably
honestly,
address it somewhere.
I don't know. Like it was very, very odd. But after they beat the Wolf Dogs with a Phoenix Splash on Baron Corbin, again, this is a very, very good match. I recommend seeking it out if you have not yet seen it. Then Karrion Kross comes out, and then Authors of Pain come down the stairs from in the crowd, and they come in and they jump them, and they beat them up. And I don't know what the long-term plans are for the Final Testament. Like what they're doing here. If it's like, because as I told Corey before we came on the air, there's no good outcome from a match between the Blurry Boys and the AOP. Because either the Blurry Boys lose their titles, which makes them look bad. I mean, they just won the titles and they lose them immediately. Or they beat the AOP, who just got demoted to NXT because they couldn't beat Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. So like that doesn't look good.
Times they couldn't or whatever. Like
it's
they couldn't even fight them for the first 3 months of their feud.
you there was a lot of they put a lot behind the idea of the Final Testament of Karrion Kross with the AOP, Scarlett, Paul Ellering. This was December or whatever, and it feels like here they had a match at Mania, and it feels like if they are indeed having an extended run now in NXT, it just feels like an admission of failure with Karrion Kross. We cannot get this guy over on the main roster, period. Let's put him back in NXT, where we pushed him so hard that there was a detriment to the product. So let's see if we do that again, if it'll work this time. Like, I don't know. Like it was, I'm not sure. It just, we will see. I love AOP. I think they're amazing.
Yeah.
I think a match with two really, really fast guys could be a lot of fun, except with AOP get a hold of you, you're not getting up. So this feels weird. I would have liked to have seen them defend the titles once successfully before having to face the AOP where they're going to get creamed, but
I don't know. So the tricky thing for me on this is I really want to see the in-ring. I'm very intrigued by what that'll look like. I'm with you on the booking of, I mean, we didn't like it because we felt like Adam Cole destroyed him, but Kross is kind of an NXT legend, realistically, right?
Well, I mean, certainly by the way he was pushed. Yeah, absolutely.
If I'm creating a video package and not Alex and Kate, this guy is an NXT legend. So him going back there kind of makes sense. AOP felt like it was supposed to be this big deal when they were all presented together. To your point, they had all these vignettes. And I'm just so confused about the OC thing that I'm like, what are we doing here? Maybe something will come up draft time. So yeah. I really want to see what the match looks like because I'm so intrigued by how these super fast guys are going to go against these absolute monsters. Like, I'm very intrigued by the story that could be there. To me, it just screams like this is going to end in a DQ because of what? And I'll probably hate that. And I'll roll my eyes at it, and neither of them will lose. And then we'll get some sort of triple threat.
Right. CogCG says, "What's up, Kate and Alex? Hope you enjoyed Mania like I did. By the way, they called Frazer and Axiom the supersonic duo several times. I need that to be a thing now, LOL. No, they're obviously the Blurry Boys. That is what their name will be on this show going forward. For as long as they are the champs and beyond, they are the Blurry Boys.
They are the Blurry Boys, just like Big Ange is Big Ange. I mean, we didn't give her that name, but she's
Supersonic Duo is a perfectly fine name if the name Blurry Boys does not exist, and so therefore Blurry Boys is the name.
It's a cute descriptor, like they're the Blurry Boys, but this Supersonic Duo is whatever. That's fine. Yeah. But they're the Blurry Boys because Alex, they are dudes.
Blurry.
They're fellas.
They're fellas, and they run so fast they're blurry.
They're blurry. Ergo. Blurry Boys.
Right. Trick Williams came out to cut a promo and talked about how he beat Carmelo. And then he put over Carmelo. Was like, I wouldn't be here without him. And the crowd's like, boo. And he's like, no, seriously. And I'm like, no, seriously. You just had a blood feud with the guy who tried to ruin your career. You don't need to put him over. Like it's
I didn't like that at all.
That you should hate this dude. Like, man, but he is him, but I beat him. Like, no, don't just move on. Like, how little did I know how little we were moving on, but I thought we were moving on from this thing, which was going on forever. But he calls out,
moving on.
We're not going to move on. But Ilia Dragunov comes out. He calls out Ilia Dragunov, who comes out and says, I am so proud of the performer you have become. Congratulations on your huge victory. Stand and deliver. I want a title shot. He says, my answer is no. And then he talks for 15 seconds and says, we have a match in 22 weeks. I'm like, wait, you just said no. I missed all the point between when he said no, because I was like, he said no? And then by the time my brain computed, he's like, in 2 weeks, I will have a match with you. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess the point is like, you can have a match with me, but only if there's a stipulation. He says, if I beat you, you have to leave NXT. Now, we already know that Ilia Dragunov has entered the draft. Correct. They said that last night. If they did not say that, it would be a little more plausible that he could beat Trick and they call up Trick instead. But he's in the draft pool. You would be dumb not to draft Ilia Dragunov.
You'd be very dumb not to draft.
So I do think Trick is beating him. But I like that there's the little thing of like they're doing the match before the draft. And if Trick loses, then he gets drafted. Simple as that. And if Ilia loses, then he gets drafted. I think Trick beats him. I think that's the easy thing to do here. But considering how ridiculously over Trick Williams is, they may be like, we have stuff for you to do right now. We don't really know what to do with Dragunov at this point. You know what I mean? Like somehow they might have that. Like we know we want him to be a big star. We just don't see the avenue right now with the pieces we have in place. So maybe we have a thing for Trick to do right now. I just don't know.
Yeah, it's a character thing and the way they're over thing where I feel like with Ilia, you want to be very intentional, right? About the way that he gets brought up to the main roster. Yep. Where with Trick, I feel like his personality is so big and he's so over in a different way. You can kind of plug him into more places. Dragunov kind of feels like he should be one of those guys that's always sniffing around a title picture or a title adjacent feud fight, whatever. They drafted NXT champions last year, so we'll see how that goes. It seems like, Corey has said that the communication is a lot better and easier between the two brands, but we have not seen that translate into this guy goes cleanly to one place or the other. So maybe they don't feel like that's a part of what their synergy looks like. I would prefer that. I would prefer you be done with one brand when you go to the other, especially in a draft. But remember they had the free agent thing? And it was like Von Wagner was one?
Von Wagner is a free agent. Never appeared on the main roster in a year. Cyclo saying that an Ilia versus Oba match will not happen. Not in NXT.
It'll happen on the main roster. It'll happen in 2K. Let's go!
Well, I mean, there's that, but like, if Ilia is what he is, and there's this new era where they're going to push people who might not be pushed like before, then Ilia could be a major champion at some point on the main roster, and Oba definitely will be. Yes. So like just because of who he is, what he looks like, everything. Obviously Ilia should be. I'm not saying that Oba's better than Ilia at this point in his career, certainly, but look at Oba. That guy's got giant mega WWE star written all over him. Ilia's small. Like he doesn't wrestle like a small guy, but if you stand him there, it's not going to be the same thing. So there's a lot. This dude is one of those things. Could Ilia at one time be a 7-8 time intercontinental champion or something? Like the workhorse dude who just yeah. Will he be a world title holder one day? I do believe that. I think that's a very good possibility. Ilia will hold the world title at least once or twice. Oba is a multi-time WrestleMania main eventer.
Yeah.
There's just a difference in how they view this. And I believe Oba versus Ilia, when it happens, will be
Special.
Will be so special. So special. And then Carmelo comes out and attacks Trick, and I just said, "This is it. I'm done. You're drafting Mello. Stop doing this." And then he's like, "Cage match next week." I was like, "Okay, fine. You can do the cage match." I guess that if that's really his swan song, fine. You can do the cage match next week. But that's it. That's it. That's the last time these two guys ever touch in NXT, and it will be. It'll be fine.
It will be. It'll be the blow off that we were anticipating getting at Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, I love. We definitely need to rename the H bomb though. Yeah. Last few baseball puns. Lord Kev says Pete Dunn Rosebuds. Shout out to SRS, who's a big.
Very nice.
Fan. True Infamous says Bullpenta El Cerramiento.
That one's a good one.
And Tampa
Better
Bay
than the
Ray
0-1.
And Tampa Bay Ray Phoenix.
That's really good.
And Meat Normus says the Iron Man Cal Rip Kenny by God Omega Toodles.
Very nice.
Tom the Valley says shout out Mrs. Elizabeth. Papa Paul is a lucky man.
He is.
And Meat Normus says after Mania, I am the longest reigning tribal beef. Nobody else comes close.
Well, we got a meat match with Oba Femi and Ivar coming up, so I'm very excited about that. But
hello, we only have one jukebox, and it's for me.
And that's the only one we need, baby. Let's go.
It's the only one, and then we're gonna leave now because it's been a long weekend.
It has. It has. What did you get into this weekend that it was such a long weekend, sir? Do you even remember?
It wasn't, like WrestleMania. It was like that, but with drugs.
Oh, Drugomania.
All right. Sex Laws by Beck. Can't you hear those cavalry drums hijacking your equilibrium? Midnight snacks in the mausoleum with the pixelated doctors moan. Carnivores in the Kowloon night breathing freon by the candlelight. Coquettes bitch slap you so polite till you thank them for the tea and sympathy. I want to defy the logic of all sex laws. Let the handcuffs slip off your wrists. I'll let you be my chaperone. At the halfway home, I'm a full-grown man, but I'm not afraid to cry. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Allie and Emily were there WrestleMania week, but I didn't get to see them. It was a bummer.
Oh, no.
We were just ships in the night.
Wearing your bracelet. Big sad.
We'll meet again. But they had so much fun. They met Grayson Waller. They met JC Jane.
Right.
They went to both nights. I got to see footage of Emily doing the whoop that trick thing, so that's funny.
Oh, wow. Well, if there's a trick, you better whoop it. That's what I always say. That's what my dear old granddad used to say. If you find a trick, you better whoop it.
I'm sad I missed you at WrestleMania weekend.
No, I wasn't in Philadelphia. It was in Thailand.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Keep cool, gabagoos.
Toodles.